Welcome to USA Kids Today Next Generation. I'm Melissa Oshford and I love slime. Today we're going to be making Jiggly slime. Let's get to it. So, we're going to be using regular white school glue. You want to use about a cup. Okay. So, it's on 4. There's my glue. So, now we're going to add water. It can be warm, cold, doesn't matter. You probably want to add about half a cup. Want to stir that up. Make sure you get that evenly mixed. I want to add a little bit more. Kind of want it to be thin. So now this part is optional, but you can add color. You can use paint, but I'd recommend using food coloring because paint kind of clumps up in my experience after a while. So, you're going to add your coloring. You want to be careful because you don't want to put too much in there because it does get on your hands. So, just want to mix that up. Then you can add glitter if you want to. I'm going to make this yellowish greenish color. I love it when it like mixes together because it looks so cool. I'm going to thoroughly mix this in. It's kind of this lime greenish color. Now I'm going to add some light pink sparkles. There we go. You also want to be careful with sparkles because they come off in your hands too. And sparkles are hard to get rid of, so if you get them on your hands and like you try to wash it, then use a towel, it just gets all over. So now that that's done, we're going to use our activator. Today I'm going to be using borax. For me, my borax solution is half a teaspoon to a cup of warm water. You can use stronger than that, like a whole teaspoon, but since this is chemicals, I like to kind of, like, I don't want my solution to be too strong. So it might take you a little bit longer to get it all mixed up since the solution's a little bit weaker. You can also use saline solution or contact lens solution, or you can use detergent, but to me, whenever I use detergent, it doesn't work very well. But you can find all of this stuff at a local store normally. So you just want to add this in slowly. When you're adding your activator, you don't want to add too much, But you want to make sure that if you have like warm hands, you don't want your slime too sticky, but if you have like cold hands, then you're not going to want it too hard, because your warm hands melt it, cold hands kind of harden it. So you want to keep adding your activator until you get that texture that you like. Sometimes it's fun to give your slimes like personalities, like give them some cool names. I think I would name this one, I think I'd name it Key Lime Pie. And it's also cool because when you put it in like your container or your baggie and you label it, you'll be like, oh, I remember that slime. So when you dispose of it, because you know sometimes slime just gets old, you don't want to throw it in the sink or throw it outside because it'll clog the drain or somebody could step in it. The best way to do is just throw it in a little plastic Ziploc baggie or something and just put it in your garbage can. But when you do put it for storage, I like to use containers because you can just easily take the container and play with it while it's in there. Plus it's super easy to get out. But if you have it in a plastic bag, it's kind of hard to get out. Plus you can't really like play with it in the container, because like if you try to squeeze it or something in the bag, it'll kind of pop out a little bit. So right about now I'm going to go with my hand. You never want to go in with two hands when it's still this sticky, because you want to have one hand free for that activator. So get all of that off of there. As you can tell, it's starting to form a little bit. You always want to have a towel or some paper towels next to you. If you're not allowed to use a regular towel because your parents are like, I don't want you to mess up my towel, you can ask them if there's like an old one that's maybe stained or is ripped or something, that they wouldn't care if you messed up, and just have a designated towel. Or you can even use paper towels. I wouldn't recommend using toilet paper because it's super thin, so it kind of rips apart easy. Still a little too sticky for me. Now, whenever you use your activator, you really want to make sure, especially with your borax, that it's fully mixed up, because if it isn't and it's kind of like chunky, it can give it like an egg-like texture, kind of, so. You can also add some lotion if it's not that stretchy. Like if you overactivate it, you can add lotion. This is a pretty good slime. So here is my key lime pie slime. This is Alyssa Osterfeld. Don't get too sticky. Next up, a USA Kids Today blast from the past. We're going back in time with the original USA Kids Today cast.
Hey wait, don't tilt that remote. USA Kids Today is coming up next. I'm Matthew, and I'll be one of your hosts, along with Roger, Holly, Alyssa, and Laura. We're all here.
So stay tuned because we're going to have lots of people on today's show. We're going to have tons of fun, so don't go away.
Hi everyone, welcome to USA Kids Today. We want to tell you everything we have planned for today right away. We have so much happening. Listen to who's here.
Musician Tony Young is here, and he's going to give us a trumpet lesson. He brought horns for everyone to play. I can hardly wait to hear what we are going to sound like.
Two performers of the Culture Caravan are here to tell us a little bit about Culture Caravan. They're going to perform one of their acts that you will see when the caravan travels around the Miami Valley this summer.
And Jessica Larson, a violinist with the Dayton Philharmonic Junior Strings, is going to play for us. And throughout the show, we are going to challenge you trivia questions about music.
But first, we have to introduce our special guest host for today's show, Miss Vanessa Tyler from WHIO's News Center 7.
Wow.
Welcome to our show, Miss Tyler, and thank you for coming to help us.
Well, thank you all so much for inviting me. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here. I've seen copies of the show, and it's a great show. And plus, you guys are doing something very close to my heart. You're working in television, Laura.
We also want to thank all of our other guests here today. Miss Tyler, it's nice of you to take time out of your busy schedule. I mean, you probably do have a busy schedule. Is working at News Center 7 hard?
Well, it is hard. We do put in very long hours, and our schedule is very, very tight. We're always constantly up against deadlines. We run out, we put the news together, and of course we have to have it all done by our 5 o'clock newscast. Then we have a newscast at 5:30, then we have a newscast at 6 o'clock. And it is a lot of hard work, but it's fun work because it's something you enjoy doing. I've always wanted to be a news reporter. Ever since I was 12 years old, I decided news was something that I wanted to do. So I said, well, I'm going to continue writing because I love writing. That's the most important thing you can do to be a news reporter. You have to have a love of writing. So, and then I chose a school, a college, that would also enhance my abilities and my skills. And then after that, that's when I went on to work at other stations around the country, smaller stations, and really got my skills together so I could work here in Dayton. But it's a lot of hard work, but everything's always hard, right, Holly?
Yeah, like working in school. We work hard in school studying, taking tests, doing homework, and working on projects. Not to mention all the extracurricular activities like dance lessons, basketball, piano lessons, Girl Scouts, band, choir, art classes, and USA Kids Today rehearsals. Work, work, work. I'm looking forward to retirement.
Well, before you retire, Holly, can you answer this trivia question? What was the largest brass instrument ever recorded?
Tuba?
Yes, a 7.5-foot tall tuba. Roger, that's only a few feet, that's only a few inches shorter than you. Taller than you.
Let's get to work and meet our guest, Jessica Larson. Jessica, we heard you got an award from the Dayton Philharmonic Women's Association. You must be really good. When did you start playing the violin?
Well, I started playing the violin 10 years ago when I was 3 because my mom, she had read something about the Suzuki method and she decided she wanted me to try it. So she signed me up and that's how I got started.
Jessica, 3 years old, that's incredible. You started playing the violin at 3?
Yeah, I was little.
Did you have a big violin?
Oh no, it was very small. It was maybe a foot long, possibly.
And you've been playing the violin ever since?
Mm-hmm.
How often do you practice?
Oh, hopefully I practice at least 6 days a week for maybe a half hour to an hour each day. And, you know, you just practice as long as you feel you need to.
What about professionally? When you grow up, do you think you'll play professionally?
Well, right now, I don't really want to be a professional. I mean, I'll still play when I grow up, but I don't think I want to do it professionally.
So to be more a hobby and for relaxation and enjoyment, actually.
Yeah.
Who introduced you to the violin?
My mother, basically. She decided she wanted me to play because she hadn't played anything when she was little, so she wanted me and my brother to play, so we did.
So your brother plays as well?
Yeah, he plays the violin too.
That's great. What about any of your friends? Do they play the violin?
Yeah, I have friends from my orchestra classes and junior strings too. And
what is it like standing up in front of an audience and playing the violin? How does that make you feel?
Oh, you get really nervous. I remember I shake when I get up. But it's fun too because you know you practiced and you know you can't do that bad, so and you try and enjoy it.
And once you start playing, then the butterflies just go away?
Oh, I wouldn't go that far, but they fade so that you hardly know they're there.
That's incredible. Isn't it great? Any other questions do you guys have for Jessica?
Is playing a violin a family thing? Does everybody else play it, or?
Well, just me and my brother. My parents don't.
If you're ever at a sleepover, do you play for your friends?
No.
What are you going to play for us today?
I'm going to play Haydn's Concerto in G major, part of it, not the whole thing.
Well, that sounds great. We really look forward to hearing you play that.
Thanks.
Thank you. Well, let's hear Jessica's song. Well, that was absolutely beautiful. Wasn't that great, Matthew? How about introducing our next guest?
Our next guests are Alicia Peters and Ray Tucross.
Ms. Peters, or may I call you Alicia?
Sure.
Tell us a little about the Bureau of Cultural Arts and Culture Caravan.
Well, I'd be happy to tell you about the Bureau of Cultural Affairs and the Culture Caravan. First, I'd like to thank you for inviting us to be here. We're so excited to be with you guys here today and share the exciting news about the Culture Caravan. First off, to get my little notes out here so I get everybody down right. The Bureau of Cultural Affairs is a new organization that the city has put together, and it consists of the Dayton Cultural Center, Riverbend Arts Center, Dayton Playhouse, and the Michael Solomon Dance Pavilion. The Bureau is involved in the development of cultural opportunities for all of its citizens. And if there's anyone that's interested in participating with the Bureau of Cultural Affairs or the Culture Caravan, you can call the Bureau of Cultural Center at 223-2489. And what we're planning on doing this summer is really, really exciting. We're going to travel around to the area parks and day camps, and we're going to put on a 1-hour culture show for the kids. So we're really excited about it. My friend Ray Tucross will be helping to do our musical performances, and we'll be doing storytelling and poetry and songs and maybe even some cultural dancing. So we're real excited about what's happening.
That sounds great. Why is it important for young people to see the music and to hear the stories?
Oh, because one of the things that is one of the greatest assets of the Miami Valley is our cultural diversity. And there are so many different groups within the Miami Valley that have a rich heritage of music and storytelling and contributions that they bring to our area. And so what we hope to do is share the cultural heritage of all of our citizens of the Miami Valley so that everyone can be proud of the work that we do here in the Miami Valley.
How would you describe your performance?
Well, our performance is a mixture of cultures. We do storytelling from Native American culture and from Latin America. And what we like to do is show the cultural similarities that exist within the Latin American countries and Native American culture.
I heard you're going to tell us a story today. What's it called?
It's called Two Crows Swan Medicine, and it was written by Ray Two Crows. And, well, the story is actually called Swan Medicine. And I'll let Ray tell you a little bit about it.
Well, this is a story that, that I put together from stories that my great-great-grandmother told me when I was just a little kid. She took care of me from the time I was born until the time I was about 7 or 8 years old. She lived until I was 12, and her name was Martha Gibson. And she was a Cherokee woman, and she knew many stories from the time when she was a child. She grew up in Virginia. And this particular story is a story about Swan when she was very young. This is a story from a long, long time ago. And when Swan was very young, she was very happy in the world, but she took a journey, just as we all do in our lives, to learn new things and to grow. And so there's some lessons in this story. Like many Native American stories, there are certain things that are there for us to learn and grow through.
That's wonderful. What lesson will we get out of this particular story?
Well, as you'll hear in the story, Swan learns that she, even though she loves her life, and even though she's very close to all the brothers and sister animals around her, she learns that she can, even though she learns new things and her whole world changes and her body changes, everything changes for her, she still has that same love inside of her. And so she, even though she goes through big changes in her life, just like Vanessa, when you were talking about your college experience and what you wanted to do when you were a little girl, and now you're doing that. So sometimes we have visions, we see the thing that we want to do in the future, and we move toward that, but we're still the same human being that we were when we were a little child. So this shows that we can look ahead and we can direct ourselves and we can become whatever we want to be.
A lot of times we hear storytelling. It's such a beautiful, beautiful art form, but a lot of people don't do it anymore. We've kind of lost the art of storytelling. That's too bad.
Well, there are many storytellers right here in the Miami Valley, and you know, we all have stories, and we're all storytellers. We tell stories all the time. We tell stories with the music that we do, we ourselves, but each one of us has a story. We have the story of our lives. We tell the story of how we may have gone to the store to get something and something happened to us. And these are all learning experiences, and these are all our stories.
And so we're making our stories right now.
That's right. Yeah, we make up our own story as we go along.
Maybe you can tell people a story about how you were on a TV show.
That's right. Yeah, we can tell people all about USA Kids Today. And what a great thing that's making it's making a whole world for the kids here on USA Kids Today. And so everybody in the community is inputting into this show. And so we're all part of this story.
We can't wait to hear your performance, but I understand besides the words and the story, you also use instruments to enhance it.
Yes, we do. This is a Lakota-style flute. This was made for me by a friend, a Lakota friend named Brian Akipa. And he's a master flute builder. And he made this particular flute especially for me. This isn't the one I'll be using in the story, but this flute is, it has a crow's head on it, and it has a little crow here. And it has crows even on the flute itself, and it has a couple of lightning bolts and a half moon and some other things on here, and these are all symbols of my name. Two Crows is the name that my great-great-grandmother gave me when I was just a little child. In Cherokee, it's it goes Kali Kyogi, which means two crows. And so we'll be playing this instrument, and even a little later in the show, I think we may be doing some work with some guitar.
What a beautiful instrument. That too is art in your hands.
Yes,
and
very
it's
much.
Beautiful.
Very much, and very much in the spirit. It's a very spiritual thing. All the art that Native people do is very spiritual. And in fact, in Native American language, there is no word for religion, because all people try to do everything that they do in a spiritual way. And they believe that, Native peoples believe that we should go through our lives never forgetting the Creator, never forgetting what we owe to Mother Earth. And so we should always be in that spiritual way. And so yes, all things that Native peoples do are spiritual things and artistic things.
Well, it certainly should be a lot of fun this summer when you bring your art form and your storytelling to the parks and to young people. So that's something certainly you're looking forward to.
Oh, yes, yes, most definitely. One of the things we hope that the children will get from the presentations is that we're all connected, that we learn from each other and from the very things that we come in contact with in our daily lives, from the trees, from the animals. And so when we stop and think about it, everything has value, and everything in our culture is worthy. And so it makes us feel happy and proud to be a part of teaching and learning from each other.
And that's quite a good lesson for young people, because sometimes it's kind of tough growing up, but once young people realize that they have something that's worthy within them, they can contribute to our society.
Exactly.
Well, let's listen to your performance. I can't wait to hear it.
Sure. Sounds like fun.
It's time for another trivia question. What instrument has hammers?
Hammers. What? How about maybe a piano?
Yes.
I thought it was a drum.
USA Kids Today will be right back after these messages. You're watching USA Kids Today.
Many dreams ago, before human beings came to share sacred Mother Earth, our brothers and sisters, some call the animals, lived lovingly with the land. High in the hills, in a beautiful little valley, lived Swan. Each day, she would swim in the small pond that her brother Beaver built. She would preen her pretty brown feathers and clean the white fluffy down at the tips of her short wings. For you see, she was a young bird, and as yet, no swan had ever flown. But Swan wanted nothing more than what the Creator gave her each day. Swan was very happy. She loved her life and her little valley and all her friends. Brother Frog and Sister Cicada would sing her to sleep each night. Sparrow family and the other birds that lived nearby would wake her each morning. At highest sun, hawk and eagle would soar far overhead. She loved to watch them fly and wondered how it must be to look down on the clouds. As grandmother's sun slipped behind the distant mountain, her relatives, deer and fox, rabbit, badger and raccoon, would come to her pond to drink. But her closest friend was her elder brother, Dragonfly. She had learned much from him, and he had much more to tell. For you see, Dragonflies have been here with Mother Earth for longer than anyone can remember. One day, at mid-morning, she saw Dragonfly land on a cattail leaf, and she swam excitedly to him, saying, "Oh, elder brother, last night I had the most wonderful dream. I saw a glorious being. It may have been a bird because it was flying, but it was like no relative I have ever seen. It reflected the sun and was so bright it was hard to look at. But the strangest thing, elder brother, is this feeling that I've been left with. It is as though there is something undone, something I must do, but I don't know what it could be." Dragonfly spoke to her in his buzzing voice and said,
"Little sister, you have had a powerful vision. The being that you have seen is a powerful spirit from your future. You must go and seek it. You must make a sacred vision quest to find your future."
Swan trusted her elder brother. She also trusted herself and the wonderful vision she knew Creator must have given her. So, next morning, very early, she left her little pond and began to walk. She did not know where to go, so she simply followed her heart. Before long, she had left her beautiful little valley far behind, and as evening was approaching, she began to climb a tall mountain. As night fell, she thought she must be near the top, so she found a safe niche under a huge rock and nestled in for the night. But before she let herself drift off to sleep, she did as she always did and sang her prayer to Creator. "O great Spirit of all that is, thank you for all you have given me. Thank you for my many friends, and for this day, and for this journey you have made for me." And then she was asleep, and while she slept, she dreamed. She dreamed she was above the clouds, higher than the highest mountain, sailing on the winds, and then she was awake. It was morning, and the sky was clear and deep blue. As she wiggled out of her snug bed, she stretched her legs and then her wings and walked around the rock she had slept under. There, before her astonished eyes, was a beautiful valley, far larger than her little valley home. In the middle of the valley ran a magnificent river, and on that river many beavers had built a giant dam and so made a huge lake that shimmered in the light. She could hardly believe her eyes, so much bigger than she had imagined anything could be. As she started down the mountain, she sang her morning song, and her heart was full of joy. It was past noon when she reached the lake, and though she should have been tired, she ran to the water's edge. As she stared across the water, she began to notice something strange. It was a dark thing in the water, a shape that was moving but going nowhere. It made her curious but not afraid, for she knew this was the place she would find her vision, her future. She put one foot in the water and then the other, and immediately she began to be pulled toward the center of the lake. She was moving faster now, even though she was not swimming at all. She began to see that the shape was pulling her, that it was swirling round and round. She didn't understand, but she was not afraid. Faster and faster she was pulled, round and always closer to the center. And then she realized that this was a whirlpool, and she was being pulled down, round, and then she she was gone. The lake was smooth and calm. Brother Frog began to sing his all-is-well song. But just as he spoke his first note, out of the very center of the lake, something exploded high into the air. It was Swan. Higher and higher she went, above the highest mountain, until she spread her glorious, broad white wings. She could see what she thought must be the whole world. In the distance was her beloved little valley, and far beyond that, the great waters she had heard eagles speak of. Far below her was the lake. And now she turned and wheeled and began to dive toward it. She was flying. Yes, Swan. As she approached the water, she slowed herself. It was as if she had flown every day of her life, a natural thing. She glided above the water and looked down at her reflection, and she was stunned at what she saw. She lowered herself to the water and gently landed onto it. Yes, this was Swan, altogether different, but altogether herself. And then she saw her elder brother Dragonfly standing on a willow branch near the shore. She swam quickly to him, singing, "Elder brother, look what has happened to me."
Yes, little sister, I see. You are very beautiful indeed. And you can fly high like even eagle. But tell me, sister, what have you learned?
Swan looked at her elder brother and then at her reflection and said, "I was happy before in my little pond and was very pleased with all the Creator had given me. That there is more does not undo the goodness of what has been. That the Creator has given me this must also be honored. I will fluff these new feathers to honor myself as a worthy daughter of the All That Is, of which we surely all are a part. I see that we cannot avoid change, for it is a part of being. To be unhappy with who we are is to dishonor ourselves and thereby all of creation. But to embrace and love what the Creator has given us is to realize our own unique spirit, which has never been before and never will be again." Dragonfly flipped his wings in approval and buzzed.
Ah, little sister, you are quite right. We all must live in this graceful way of being. And from this day forward, your name will always be connected with this graceful way. Yes, it shall be so.
This is the story of swan medicine. It was given to me by my grandmother, and now I give it to you. It shall be so.
That was absolutely fantastic. I'd like to thank Alicia Peters and Ray Two Crows for sharing that with us. Hey, I think it's about time for a trivia question.
Yeah, it is. What is a stick that a conductor uses?
A pretzel stick?
No.
Peppermint stick?
No.
A baton?
A baton? How'd you guys know? Yes, it's a baton.
Like I say, everybody knows.
Except for them two?
We have one more guest to introduce, and this is the part we've all been waiting for. Meet Tony Young.
Welcome, Tony.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here on USA Kids Today.
Now you're...
Tony has been our trumpet instructor for all of one day. Of course, we were rather exceptional students.
Marvelous students, absolutely. Very nice.
How long does it usually take to learn the trumpet?
Well, really, Vanessa, the basics are fairly simple and can be grasped in only a few lessons, and after that it just becomes a matter of applied practice, and till those basics become automatic.
Wow.
So.
How long have you been playing?
Well, I started when I was 10, so that's been almost 30 years. And I started out in 5th grade band, very much like lots and lots of other students, and then eventually through junior high and high school became more and more interested in playing, and eventually joined the Air Force band system, and have played professionally since I was about 14. So.
You must really have a love of the instrument.
Oh, I do, very much, very much. It's a big part of my life. I listen to a lot, music of all kinds, and constantly strive to learn as much as I possibly can. There's still an awful lot I don't know.
Do you like teaching young people?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It's very, very fun. It's a pleasure to see them develop. You know, young people are so enthusiastic about learning virtually anything, and if it's something that they're even a little bit interested in, music is an interesting thing to most folks. So it's great to see them start out as inexperienced beginners, and then slowly but surely develop into really, most of the time, very fine players. And this group here has been quite remarkable, I must say. They've put in a lot of time, and we're going to get to see some of the results of that here in a little bit, I hope. That is, if everything stays all in one piece.
Well, you know, we're looking at the pieces of the instrument. Would you describe it for us, and what parts go where and how we should hold it?
Oh, sure. Everybody has one, so just kind of follow along with me. If you take your left hand and put it through the ring there turn it so that the bell is up, like this, kind of like out in front of you. Okay, everybody got it so far? Except for Matthew. Matthew's working with a cast there. Reach across it, put your finger through the ring. Okay, just reach down with your left hand, put it like that. Everybody got it so far? Turn it up. You can put your pinky finger in the little hook there on the top. On your right hand, and then the first 3 fingers of your right hand rest lightly on the tops of the finger buttons, and you're all set. That's you've just learned probably 85% of playing trumpet.
If you really love the instrument, how often a day should you practice?
Well, practice every day is the quickest way to improve at anything. So I usually recommend that if it's possible. With young students especially, the schedules being what they are, it's tough to ask sometimes 7 days a week to practice, but if certainly 4 to 5 days will get you enough time to make the improvements that are necessary. And anywhere from a half an hour to an hour a day is usually plenty for a beginner.
That's great. That's not a long time to learn such a beautiful instrument.
No, it really isn't, and that's kind of one of the other fun parts about it, is the fact that it only takes, again, a kind of an applied practice. You know, really paying attention to the things that you're doing, and you can make amazing progress in a short amount of time.
Great. Well, I guess we should try to get to work and learn this instrument.
All right. All right.
Okay, but first let's do one more trivia question. Drums were first used in ancient India and Egypt. Who introduced drums to Western Europe?
Oh, wow. That's a tough one.
The Romans?
Romans?
How'd you know that?
I don't know.
But that was the correct answer. Very good answer.
That's great.
All right, we're going to learn this instrument, and maybe we can put some music together when we come back.
Great.
You're watching DATV. DATV gives you the freedom to communicate.
Who am I? I'm Carrie. I have dreams. I want to be healthy. I want to eat. I want my mommy to be happy. I have dreams. I want to swim in the ocean. I want ice cream. I have dreams. I want to grow up. H-I-J-K-L-M-N-O-P Q-R-S-U-V W-X-Y-U-V. Now I know my ABCs. Next time won't you sing with me?
Welcome to your first trumpet lesson. This is going to be exciting, and we're glad to have Vanessa here, especially along with the USA Kids Today cast. This will be a lot of fun. What do you think the most important thing is you can have? What is your most important tool as a wind instrument player, and especially a brass player? First hand, Jeremy?
Breathing.
Right, air is your most important tool. That's the fuel that you power this musical engine with, okay?
Plenty of that.
Yeah, and there's plenty, yes, and some to spare. Okay, let me show you a real simple exercise we use to give you an idea of how that big breath should feel, all right? I'll show you first, and then I'll ask you to do it. You want to blow your air out, and then do this. Okay, show you one more time. Okay? And that'll give you a feel of how that big breath should feel. And Vanessa does this all the time because that's how she gets that beautiful voice that she uses when she's on TV. So this is a multiple usage exercise, all right? Everybody do it with me. Blow your air out. Breathe in. Okay, feel that nice big breath come through there and everything feels nice and full. That's the kind of energy you have to have. Let's do it one more time. Okay, and everything goes fills up with air, all right? Very good. Now, let's take that breath and do something with it.
Cool.
Take your tuning slides out and real carefully let them hang on your thumb. Okay? Taking that, just the first one. Just the first one, okay. Now that you've got that, leave that on your hand, or leave that on your thumb and put your hand back the way we're going to hold it when we talked about it earlier for playing position, all righty? Now, with a breath that you take that feels just like the one that you took in the exercise, I want you to reproduce the sound that I'm going to make. Okay, with a big breath, everybody do that same thing. Feet on the floor. Wait, let me start you. Big breath. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Slide this part. Hold on to your horn. Hold it tight, 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 tight. There we go. And hang that on your thumb. All right? Okay. Let's do that same thing again. I'll do it, and then you do it back. Big breath. Very nice. Very nice. You've just learned the majority of the things you need to know to make a beautiful sound on any brass instrument. Now, let's go ahead and we'll play the music that we talked about playing earlier.
Boy, did we sound great, and just after only one lesson. We sound just like one of the greatest big bands of all time. Well, I've had a lot of fun here today, but you know, I've got to get ready to go to work, so I'm going to have to leave.
Don't go yet. I haven't asked my trivia question.
Okay, what's your question?
Which bean, originally from the Orient, is now more cultivated in the United States than our native variety? Jelly beans.
Nope. Jumping beans.
Nope.
Human beans?
Nope.
I'm really not sure.
Magical fruit? Magical
But
fruit?
it really seems like it's just a mystery.
We cannot guess.
Soybeans!
Soybeans.
Holly, what does that trivia question have to do with music, though? Beans, beans, a musical fruit. The more you eat, the more you make music.
That's right. Make music.
In just a couple of weeks, we will be clearing out our desks, turning in our textbooks, and closing up our classrooms for the summer.
I just can't wait for summer vacation to start. We can go to the pool and we can go camping. And don't forget, we'll be in the celebration Dayton 4th of July parade. USA Kids Today is celebrating Dayton's bicentennial birthday on a big USA Kids Today float. Look for us. Maybe we'll see you there.
Well, before we go, can we ask another trivia question?
Yes. What do television hosts say before they go?
Oh, I know. What? Thank you.
Thank you and goodbye. But really, thank you all for inviting me here.
Exactly. We want to thank all our guests who came down to the studio today. Alicia Peters and Ray Toot Crows, Tony Young, and that's it.
And we also like to thank Jeremy, who's here joining us.
And we would like to thank Jessica Larson because her accomplishments and her performance were very nice.
Jessica was great. That was very, very good. But we want to thank everybody. We had a great time.
And we especially want to thank you, Vanessa. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big round of sound for Ms. Vanessa Tyler. Thank you so much for your help. We couldn't have done this without you.
Well, thank you all for inviting me, and I want you all to have a very safe and a very happy summer.
Let's give everyone a big hand. Let's give Vanessa a big hug. I mean, hand.
I'll take a hug, too. Thank you. And I'll keep playing and practicing, too.
We've had a great first season here at USA Kids Today. We made a lot of new friends, we learned a lot of fascinating things, and we went to a lot of interesting and fun places.
During the summer, we'll be out and about covering events in the Miami Valley. And when we return next season, we'll have all new episodes, and we'll be looking for more kids to join our production crew. So hopefully, we will have some new cast members to join us next fall.
In the meantime, remember, kids can make a difference. Kids are really smart. Kids have really neat ideas, and kids can do a lot. See you in the fall. Have a great summer. Bye. To find out how you can be on USA Kids Today, write to USA Kids Today, 4861 Leaf Road Drive, Dayton, Ohio, 45424.
Wardrobe for the host of USA Kids Today is furnished by Fashion Bug. Manners Moment is brought to you through the courtesy of Minding Our Manners, etiquette workshop for all ages. The In Cahoots Children's Theater Program at Wright State University and St. Pierre School in Cedar Heights and Fashion Bug clothing stores are proud partners and supporters of the USA Kids Today program. USA Kids Today is a program produced for kids, about kids, by kids, with the aid of dedicated volunteers who encourage kids to get involved and do their best. USA Kids Today is a new view video production. See things differently.